Hey, Corrie.
Hey, Gray.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's exciting to be back in Ottawa.
Yeah, it's an honor to be part of this 50th anniversary for CKCU for sure. And you flew in.
I did.
From BC.
Yeah, CKCU has been generous enough to let me stay involved, despite being on the other side of the country, which is awesome. I wish I got to be here more often with the fabulous people. It was just, something I couldn't miss.
Yeah, and I mean, your story's a bit interesting because you came to CKCU not as a DJ or someone who wanted to be on radio, but rather you were the elected CUSA rep.
I was to
take a board seat.
Yeah, a funny kind of story. I got a text. Well, Sam Kilgore, who for quite a while was the other CUSA rep, shot me a text and went, "Would you like to be on the CKCU board?" And this was at a time when CUSA still, they just chose someone, and CKCU didn't have a chance to say yes or no. We've changed that in the bylaws now, but I got a text from Sam saying, "Would you like to be on the CKCU board?" And I went, "Sure, I'll have to learn about it." He went, "Good, because we've already nominated and voted you." So I got put in touch with Sean McPhee, of course, who was board chair then. And it was immediately obvious what an awesome group of people this is. I'm a musician, not a DJ. I play cornet, and I love it. So I love being around the music, and I love the community. Mm-hmm. And then my background's policy, right? So it's been really great working through the strategic plan and bringing our bylaws up to date. And then learning about radio as I do it. I bring maybe a different talent than DJing, but I hope I bring something.
You certainly do. I mean, we need all kinds of people. And now you're board treasurer.
Yeah.
You stepped into a new role, and
in
it's
January. Well, just
definitely a very busy role.
Very busy role. Yeah, lots of money. We're in exciting times. We're just about to cap one of the biggest funding drives, I think, in the history of CKCU,
Yep.
which is really exciting. In year 50, which is brilliant. We're moving back towards balanced budgets, looking back towards building the contingency fund up again, which is all really exciting, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next 50 years.
And looking at ways to generate new revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have our new station director, Leah Kiesling, to help with that.
So exciting.
And it's been a very big year for CKCU, not just in the fact that it's turning 50, but there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of momentum. I'm seeing a lot of fresh young volunteers, especially young women.
Yeah,
and
which is so cool.
They're going to carry the torch, hopefully, for the next 50 years.
I hope so. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, I don't really know. I mean, you've been involved since 2018?
Yes.
As a DJ of your own show.
Well, I mean, let me backtrack a bit. So I was a student at Carleton, and I had moved here from England in 1997. So I went to school in England, and I didn't know where to find the cool music. So I was actually listening to CKCU for quite a while, and then I would attend live events, seeing bands, and Dave Aardvark and John Westhaver were always there. They put on a lot of shows, and they often brought a CKCU banner. So I'm like, this is a cool place. And then I think it was in university, a friend of mine had volunteered with CKCU, and she kind of introduced me, and I started coming whenever I had a free period. This was back when we had CDs, and I would log CDs into a computer, and I did one or two shows. I did an overnighter, which was strenuous, let's just say. And then I kind of, fell off the radar, as students do. But I always stayed a listener. I became friends with some of the DJs here. I always donated. And then in 2018, that same friend who got me initially involved said, "Hey, I'm thinking of volunteering. Do you want to volunteer again?" And so I started volunteering again and, training to do a show, and ended up getting a show, and was just kind of quietly doing that for a few years. And then Bruce White found out I had some fundraising experience because I worked in nonprofit and fundraising, and invited me to join the fundraising committee. And so we met, we started having regular meetings. Then I decided, hey, if I'm helping CKC with all this fundraising, I kind of want to be involved with how the money's getting spent. So I joined the board, and then now somehow I'm board chair. So it's been a journey, but it's been an awesome journey, and it's just been such an awesome thing to be involved with. And, time and time again, I'm so impressed with the level of volunteerism within CKCU. There's so many people involved, and so many people who've been here like for decades. And we're going to see that tonight at the gala. There's people who've been here 30, 40, 50 years. And every day, I honestly think like how special it is to be to be part of like this community endeavor that is really like linking people up, providing people with that community with friendships, and one of the most, I think, awesome things about CKCU is it welcomes all sorts of people. We all are working towards a common purpose, and as long as we're all on that same mindset, we welcome everyone and anyone to kind of join in and participate in that.
I mean, it's one of the brilliant things about CKCU is how diverse our backgrounds are. I mean, we've got people from all sorts of ethnicities, from cultures, different languages. We've got all sorts of programming.
All sorts of music tastes.
So many different music tastes, which is brilliant because if you listen to the station, you get introduced to things, and you might not like everything, but you get that introduction that you don't get in other spaces, which is just brilliant. And I just wanted to say, just listening to you, we're sure glad to have you on the board as chair. We went from one fabulous board chair to another, we're so glad to have you around and me leading the strategic plan. It's been really awesome working with you as treasurer.
Yeah, it's I enjoy being on the board. It's not without its challenges, and it certainly is a lot of work. And sometimes, the most random things comes out of left field, and you're like, well, now I have to deal with this. Yep. But it is very interesting. And like I say, it's just an honor to be part of CKCU, especially at this point in time. We've turned 50 years. We're definitely on a big upward swing, and I just want to continue that on for as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If anybody out there is watching this and you're interested in joining the board, the AGM's coming up.
Yeah.
There will be a board nomination form. Maybe tell us a little bit about the board nomination form that is coming, I hope, before the AGM, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it at the next board meeting. But yeah, like essentially we're looking, part of what I want to do on the board is kind of put in a little bit more processes and procedures around things. And prior, people just raised their hand to be on the board. But now we're going to have a form that people have to fill out. And then we're going to share that form with members so they actually know who they're voting for. Yeah. And it's also a way that people interested in being on the board can kind of self-screen to see like, hey, do I have the time to actually be on a meeting once a month and on a committee and so on and so on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
trying to get a range of different people and different ideas on the board too, right?
Yeah, because I welcome people who disagree with me.
Absolutely.
Because it takes time. We'll debate and it will be kind of tedious. But at the end of the day, you get the best sort of decision, best product, etc., by having like a lot of different viewpoints on things.
The worst thing I think in a way that can happen is you give a report on something that you've worked hard on and you get a bunch of blank stares.
Yeah.
I'd much rather negative feedback than no feedback at all, because at least you know that I can see through the glass Nathanael laughing. But I'd much rather that negative feedback. I mean, positive feedback's awesome, but feedback is really what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it's like what the board's looking for from members too, right?
Yeah, and that's how we did the strategic plans.
Exactly.
So I'm really confident in the plan we produced. There was a lot of consultation with listeners, with volunteers, and then after it was drafted, I ran that with the staff. Past board chairs. And so I think we have a really great strategic plan.
I think so.
Which people can check out on the website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, rests on our new bylaws, which are really exciting.
Yeah.
The fact that we're updating our charity status according to new bylaw. For those who don't know, Ontario changed their not-for-profit legislation. And so we're coming into compliance with that, which is super exciting. It makes it in some ways a little easier because there's a better provincial guideline, but also it meant that we had to change some things on our end to make sure that we were compliant and to clarify because there were gaps in the provincial legislation to allow for differences in organizations and to make sure that we were clear enough. So I think now we're at such an exciting time. When we both joined the board, we were waiting for a strategic plan. We were just starting to bring those to work on the bylaws. And now here we get to sit here, for me, 2.5 years later, we have a strategic plan, we have bylaws.
We did a lot. Actually, for the upcoming AGM, I started putting together the report from the board, and I'm like, oh, and we did this, and we did this. We hired the new station director. We updated the bylaws and charitable objects. We did the strategic plan, and there's a whole bunch of smaller things that we did as well.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Yeah, it is a really great time to be involved, and you know what's really exciting? All these young volunteers
Absolutely.
like Lukas and all the young volunteers getting involved and seeing how they're going to carry the torch for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
And really, I think it's really important right now to really engage them and show them that volunteering for CKCU can be an amazing lifelong experience.
Absolutely.
It brings so much community, and it's such important work for so many reasons.
And we live in a time where those kind of community endeavors are harder and harder to find.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder to find community, and how wonderful to be able to come up to the 5th floor and walk into a community, to walk into a place where you have something in common with people, and you're able to strike up a conversation, you're able to learn something new, and you're able to bring whatever you can bring to the table, you can bring, and it'll be welcomed.
You know, someone asked me last night why I volunteer. I'm like, because I have to stay sane, because this world, it's so messed up right now, right? And I know for myself, I have to take action in order to alleviate some of the anxiety and feelings that come along with that. Yeah. And I mean, CKCU is a great place to, just like give yourself purpose and to advocate for democracy, right, for independent media.
Absolutely.
In this increasingly messed up world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess we better head back and keep blowing up balloons for the festivities tonight. But it
was a great conversation, Gray.
Absolutely.
I always love talking to you.
Oh, likewise. I always feel, and I feel this way when I talk with anybody on the board and anybody at CKCU. I always feel uplifted at the end of a conversation, which is another reason I like to volunteer, because I always leave anything I do with CKCU happier.
Feeling good.
Yeah, exactly.